All right, I guess we are live. I'm over here working on setting up more assets. How is everybody? Let me turn this brightness up a little bit. I need to get more lighting and all that. You got the sun coming in. Welcome everybody to our 7:30 Tuesday show. See, I just got my some new hats in, so I decided to wear it tonight. On the show. I'll give people a little bit to come on. You know, I'm going to make these a little bit more. I'm going to try to make these more interactive as I go. We're going to slowly get better on these shows, but I think we've been doing the 7:30 Tuesday for a while now, so I'm going to stick with that. And then I just got to get, I got to get more equipment. My wife probably thinks I just buy all these toys or whatever.
Bye, bye.
Yeah, bye. That's actually a little saying on another podcast. Bye. Anyway, but I really need to get like a microphone so you guys can hear me better. I might do something with the internet to make it so I can have a little bit more high, more of an HD video, and then I was gonna do more stuff on here. Hey, thanks for coming out, Mike and Margaret. And hey, it was nice to meet your daughter Michelle there at the show, as Mike says, boss number 2. So that's great. That was great. Okay, well, let me go ahead and get started. I've got a full show for you guys tonight. It was great to be back. Great, the weekend was great. Of course, we got another one right here behind us coming up, Tampa. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to talk a little bit about hey Joel, how you doing? I'm going to talk a little bit about your stuff, your sales, and feel free to chime in when I get there because I'm going to highlight some stuff. And anyway, so this last weekend, let me I wasn't looking at that one. So I just wanted to, hey, August, and how are you? And happy Tuesday. That was exactly right, Lisa. We'll see you this weekend. And okay. So Altamonte, I want to give you some of my feedback. Again, I made some notes. I spent some time. Did a little bit of prep today. Okay. Anyway, so I wanted just to I have some notes from the show the other day. Again, like I said, like I posted online, great turnout to the show. We had over 1,000 people at the show. I think, I don't know, I at the beginning of the show, well, I'll come back to that. At the beginning of the show, I did say that I thought we would have 1,000 people. We are actually short from what I had originally thought we would have because of the amount of interest on Facebook. But that's an Orlando thing, and the weather was beautiful. Okay, plus you had 2 other shows going on, I think, in the area, so we can chalk it up to that. Okay. All right, but great turnout, lots of new faces that we've never seen before, totally new audience, it seemed like. And so that was really good. And we had a lot of our super collectors come out. We had John, and then we had Heather and her husband. I can't think of his name right now, but anyway, they all came out. They were there for most of the day, hanging out and enjoying the day, man. And shopping and checking out these great vendors that we have. The venue was new, was great. Hopefully, it was a little tight. Okay, it was a little tight. And Heather and Tony, yes, you're right. It was Heather and Tony. Thank you for mentioning that. Hey, August, can't wait for this weekend. Awesome. Glad you're coming out. And Shellhead, I think you got your video at 8, so I'll try to So check him out after I'm done. I'll probably run over after 8, but because I've got like a couple pages of notes here, guys. So I'm not going to be ridiculous, but thanks for coming out, Tony Shellhead. Check out his video after we're on. Okay, he does some talk about toys and stuff like that. Jose, thanks for coming on. We'll see you this weekend. Who we will not see is Bill Fury, man. I thought he was here for a little while, but turns out his son is going to like a fire department training. So he'll be in the fire. He just was like oh man. I wasn't going to mention that, Trent, but you did that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay. Anyway, I'll come back to that. That's that there. Yeah. Anyway, let's see, Mike. Yeah, come on. Oh, this is great. Okay. All right. Well, hey, send me information on that and I will do that. I'm certainly interested in coming on other people's shows, and I'm just trying to make a regular show here right now. And anyway, but I'll come back to Trent's thing. Yeah, there will be at this weekend show, there will be I think Mark Moriarty is bringing sports cards. There'll probably be a few other sports cards mixed in. There will be several Pokemon vendors. It's the hottest thing going on right now. So every show is going to have some Pokemon vendors. Now, even I'm a little like blown away at how many we do get requested, because there is, a lot of shows going on. Actually, that one of the reasons why we didn't have, I don't think, a lot this last Sunday, was because there was a big Pokemon show at Desertland, which I got great feedback about the venue, because I don't know if you guys know, but I've been trying to work with them to rent that, but I need to get back to them. Excuse me. I've been dealing with a little bit of a dry throat since the show. But anyway, I think it's just no big deal. All right. So again, 1,000 people came out. We gave out a lot of Hot Wheels. We gave out a lot of Pokemon cards. I think we're going to be planning another one for the fall. We just have to work out the dates with the hotel. And then one thing I will say, a couple things was, I want to point out again, guys. I'll just go ahead and remove this here. I hadn't really thought about it that much, and I know I mentioned it in the post after the show, but to all the vendors, we're able to put that whole show together in 2.5 hours. Vendors get in there at 6:30, and some of them don't even get there even till a little bit after 7. And that show, it felt like there was a lot of stuff. It didn't feel like thrown together at all, really. I walked through there, and the amount of great items there were just really, really good. And I want to, hats off to the vendors for being able to do that, put together their booths in 2.5 hours. And then on top of that, TK and Sean and the help and that I had, and my son Spencer helped me. We were able to put together a really, really nice show this last weekend. And we didn't have any time to get in there the night before. We were there physically the night before, but we didn't get in the room at all the night before. We were a little surprised with the tables. They have these they call them schoolhouse tables or something. They're like 18 inches wide, and then they put 2 of them together. When I went into the venue, they just said, "Hey, we got 6-foot tables." Now, I didn't ask how many 6-foot by 30 tables you have. When they said they have lots of 6-foot tables, I assumed something, and I shouldn't have, but it still worked out. Okay, so if you were into the show, the next show won't have those where the chocolate guy and Lisa was and stuff, I'll take those out, and we'll have more room for the people that needed more space behind their table. I know people are used to 10 by 10s, vendor wise and stuff, but the reality is what I'm trying to do is give more opportunities to vendors versus having less vendors in bigger spaces. There aren't a lot of big spaces to rent, guys, especially that are reasonable price, which I'll get to in another part of this video. Going back to Trent's thing, not all shows are the same, and I'm not bashing anybody. But I did hear about this show. I guess it was on Easter weekend, which we don't do, holiday weekends. And they bought a name or something, I think, and I just don't think they advertised. So I think that's what happened there, Trent. And so I spend money. We spend money on advertising at our shows. So, I mean, and that's why we charge, I don't, the venues cost money, and that's something, again, I'm going to get into, in a little bit. But we're spending a lot of money on ads and trying to get people there. So, because the vendors will not sign up if they don't make any money. You're gonna have them maybe for 1 or 2 shows, and then that's gonna be the end. So we can't have a show if they're not making money. And that goes with any show. I mean, if we look at Fanboy is a great show, and I'm sure it's amazing in Knoxville where they're from. But and I'm not knocking the show itself, but I'm just saying, like, it's geared around guests, and so the vendors, from what I have heard, don't really make money. Now, I'm sure there's some that do, but I'm just saying the ones that I know, I've had a hard time making money there. And so your show is just going to go downhill if these vendors aren't making money. Okay, let me go back to my notes just so I'm making sure I covered everything for Altamonte. Okay, let's see. Great event planning. Another one, the amount. Okay, tables. I want to just say also that the hotel there, with the staffing, there was a lot of events going on at this hotel, man. Like, there was like 3 or 4 parties going on. They had 2 proms going on the night before, plus a Jewish party thing. I mean, it was that's happening place, man. So that anyway, but they did a really good job. It was easy to work with. We didn't have any issues at all. The only issue was that the tables were a little skinnier than I didn't know about, so I didn't really realize, because I didn't go in there. I looked at the room. We got a price, and hats off to Mikado for helping us out there. He made some calls when I asked him to do that a while back, and we were able to get that space. Okay. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about sales, because at this show, and then I'll come back to the comments here in just a moment. So of course, I say of course, but Mark brought his house with his storage unit, and his house is right down the road from that venue. So he got 3 tables, and I mean, he got wiped out. I mean, he sold a lot of stuff. There was a guy that came down from Tennessee as a buyer. He bought a bunch of stuff. Some of our regulars that buy a lot of stuff. Again, Heather and Tony bought stuff. There was a lot of people that were buying stuff. Butch said that he saw bags going out all day. So it was a great thing. But a couple highlights was, we had a vendor that had let's see, I want to make sure, he had a 12-inch Boba Fett, or I'm sorry, 12-inch IG-88 that sold, which is a rare to have in the box. I think it was in the box, carded 21 back Boba Fett that goes for several $1,000s sold. And then I think there was another Luke, it sold. And then I think going back to Joel, he had two Godzillas. Joel Meadows, he had two Godzillas there. I don't know if he sold the other Shogun Warrior there, but anyway, he had two Godzillas. Those were gone. So a lot of good stuff, man, sold at this show. So and so it was really good sales. Okay, so we're gonna move on though now to Tampa. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge some people here that are on the page. And let's see. Let me just go down here where we were. And how's Archie, who's going to be at the show this weekend? Coming all the way from South Florida. He's going to bring some cool stuff. And then, of course, we got Jose, again, going to be here. Thanks, Marcy, for coming out. You guys had some good stuff there. Hopefully you did well. I'll be hitting you guys back up as soon as I can catch up here. And then, oh, man. Okay, they're 8-foot tables. All Tampa tables are 8-foot tables there. August. Okay, and I'm going to talk about Tampa setup here in just a few minutes. And Andy, hey, thanks for coming out. I'm sorry your size wasn't what you normally are, but you'll have a good space this weekend. Andy and the Fudge and stuff will be back. I'm going to try to I'm going to be hitting up Andy and talking about different setups here in the future. We like him being there. And bourbon cherries. We need more bourbon cherries.
No, and the bourbon cherries are awesome.
Oh yeah, bourbon cherries are awesome. They are, yeah. Okay, then they're out. Oh, okay. Anyway, Sean is with us here tonight, and what is this? Another shot. Oh, I think he must be talking about me and Sean got into it before the show the other day. And I just, what I want to say is, you guys know that I am, hopefully, I mean, everybody probably has heard by now that I get a little goofy in the morning. Okay. But I'm not, huh? Just a little. I'm going to do a quick little story here because, this is my show. But so the first show that we had in Tampa, I remember it was at this hotel. And the guy, the setup guy at night, I was there all the way until like 11, trying to make sure that the tables were all correct. And he was hanging out at a party while he was setting up and this and that, trying to pick up these women or whatever. Anyway, so I left and I thought the show would be set up. Came back in the morning and the show was not set up at all. And the guy took the key to the tables. I'm trying to think Margaret would remember this because she was there at that show. I'm trying to think if anybody else on here would have remembered that. But Margaret was there, and Margaret and Mike. And this is my second show that I ever did in October of 2019. And basically, the guy had went home with the keys. So I've got all these vendors showing up, and they're going, where are our tables? We need a table. I bought 8-foot table. I bought this. I did this. And it's like, hold on a minute, man. All these people are adults. And it's like, I don't have the key to the table. It's not like I was here till 11. The guy said he's got it. So I show up and the tables aren't set up. So it was like after that, I kind of freak out. I think I have this vision of these vendors coming at me. I don't have my space. I need my space and this and that. And like, so when I see things that aren't set up and I just want to get it handled right away. And so sometimes I get, I get like really like, I want it handled now. And sometimes it's just not, and one of the notes I have here is that one of the things that I learned at this show was, to let the team that I'm putting in place, TK, Sean, and even my son Spencer, let them, get the show set up so that when I come in, we're just making adjustments and all of that. Okay. we just had too many people trying to set this show up, I think, and we had been gone for a month, so everybody's like anxious to get the show and to make money in sales and everything. So that's just the way it. And I mean that from a vendor perspective too. So and then and then again, I was reminded of how amazing the vendors are, and that they can put the show together if everybody gets in their space and everybody's just working. We put these amazing shows together, and I'm calling them amazing because to me, when I walk through and see how some of these booths are set up in such a short period of time, it really is amazing. All right, IG88. Sean Wings too. Okay. Yeah, I didn't bring out Serpentor. That's in the box over there. Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't know what Joel. Oh, you have the giant robot still. Okay, I'm just going through these here. All right. August. I'm going to talk about setup here. You'll get all that information. Okay, you'll see all that information. Okay. Let me just go down here. Hey, Ron, thanks for coming out. All right. Okay, Jeff. Nah, not you. Passionate is the word. Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's not going to win you any battles there, Jeff. Okay. Anyway, it's kind of more like not enough coffee. Marcy caught me off guard there at like 5 to 6 in the morning. Anyway. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. We try to do that, but sometimes we just don't get there, in time. So, okay. Okay, let's see. Well, thanks. Yeah, well, yeah, Sean, thanks, everyone that getting out of character. Yeah, again, Sean was ready to be back at the show, and then we got Dan, the lollipop guy. He's going to be at the show this weekend. So hopefully you, okay, let me go ahead and talk about Tampa now. Again, that's this weekend. This weekend we're in our old spot. We're not in the big spot yet. That's going to be in July. Okay. So we're in our spot that we were in November, and that we've been there for 6 years. Okay. We've been in this location. We are going to have, 120 tables. We got new vendors. We've got some old vendors. We got people that only set up in Tampa. Couple highlighted vendors. We're going to have Mark, of course. We're going to have, well, not of course. Okay. It's not a given. It's not at every show, but we are going to have Mark Moriarty, and we are going to have, Mikado, and we'll have, a bunch of the other, but some Tampa only people like Andrew Cohen, who always brings like Highline toys, super nice stuff. He only sets up Saturdays. So if you're wanting that, then we're going to have Jerry Brand, who we only get a couple times a year. He's from South Florida. He travels all over the country. He's going to have red lines. He specializes in Hot Wheels red lines and older toys, the 60s stuff. He'll be there. Great vendor. We don't get him that much, but he will be in Tampa this weekend, along with a bunch of other stuff. Now, the other thing that we're going to have that's new, well, first of all, we're going to have Kaz is going to be on site. Todd will be there with us. We haven't seen Todd in a little while. Maybe he was there. I think he was there in November, but Kaz, the grading company doesn't go to everybody's show. Okay. They do go to our show. And so we're happy to have them. They will be on site taking submissions. Okay. So if you want your, stuff graded, okay. And this is a piece here. This is a stomper. I feel like I got a little lower grade than I thought it should have been, but that's on me. But anyway, this is a graded piece. So if you want it, acrylic, it's not a slide bottom. All right. They will They will be at the show. So they will be taking submissions. Okay, the other thing that I've been working on and I'm hoping to work out. So if you guys have comics that you want to be graded and submitted a CGC, okay, Alpha Omega will be on site. Okay, they will be on site and they will be taking submissions. All right, for comics. Here's one I got this weekend from our favorite vendor, Steve, signed by Jim Lee. I think that's right. No, Jim Lee, actually. This one's from an X-Men from the 90s, early 90s. All right. So again, Alpha Omega will be on site taking CGC submissions. Okay. I invited them to see if we can get so bring your comics, bring your toys to be graded. We have that service covered. You know, that's a goal of mine. All right. So we'll have all of that. This is again our 6th year in in Tampa. Now, I did post a link, and I'm going to repost it again in the morning or maybe after this video for parking. So you get, I think, a discount. So this is not for vendors. This is for customers. So if you want to get a little bit of a deal on parking at the fairgrounds, you use the link online, okay, to register for parking in advance. For vendors, there is a link that I've sent you. I will send it to August also. Okay, I'm looking at comments here. We were so vendors, I'm going to show you the link here in a minute, but if you should have gotten a website link that has a registration for parking, has all the times and all of that. I'm going to briefly show that here in a minute, but just give me a minute to do that. And then I want to show, before I show the Tampa setup stuff, I want to show off something else. And Jeff here, you rocked it out this weekend, and you were nice to me. Don't ruin it. Okay. Well, you guys are going to be basically right next to each other this weekend, so you know, be cool. Hopefully, you guys are all good. Okay. Awesome, Andy. Great. The parking. Hey, Chris, I haven't talked to you in a little while. I haven't seen you guys in a little while, but hopefully you're doing great over there in your business. I keep meaning to come over there. I got some stuff I want to share with you or ask you about on car stuff. And so, you know, feel free to come out to a show, man. All right. What I want to do is I want to add my little share. So ignore my goofy photos because I use my phone. This is coming from my phone. So I don't know if you guys know, but we have this Deadpool. Now this is his finger. I can go back. We got this. Our friend Steve saw this there was a deal. Or no, sorry, September. It was 27. And 5. And okay, so our friend Steve saw this at the Coliseum Comics a long time, like last year. And you notice here that his finger was, you know, a little rough there. You know, I mean, he looks all right. So I mean, if you guys have been to our shows, you've seen him. You know, I think there was a sale or whatever, and he picked them up for us, and I appreciate that. So we were able to get that. Now, more recently, you know, his finger was just deteriorating, and our friend Ray, you'll see it's all like deteriorating in here. And our friend Ray, he's a vendor at our show this weekend. He's the guy that did some work on the Hulk behind me. Okay. So you see, you know, there I got this Hulk from him. And so he's working on helping us fix these. So this is, you know, him fixing the finger there. He made hardener in there. You know, there's problems with the foot. deteriorating from the interior. And then, so this is part of what he sent me the other day. So he's got a new finger, and he's all, paint wise, he's pretty scuffed, right? This was the other day. All right, now, I'm so impressed with this. This is why I'm showing this to you. So yesterday he said, "Hey, okay, the legs are done. Look at this paint job. This is amazing. I mean, this is his legs. This looks like this. I'm really looking forward to seeing this weekend. Just amazing work." Okay, now Ray is going to be in. When you come in and go to the right, he'll be on the kind of in the back hall, not the back going straight, but back to the right. So after you go past Mark and stuff, he'll be back there. And I don't know, he may have the Deadpool there. I might just leave it over there with him, because I mean, he's going to have the other half done. And I mean, I'm telling you, it just looks amazing. I'm really impressed. And he's helping me work on the Silver Surfer. I don't know if you guys remember, I have a Silver Surfer. Well, his finger, his finger broke because he fell, and so he's repaired that, and we're working on painting that. And I might have a thing now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's see, stop screen there. Okay, let me make sure that I've done. Okay, now before I go over the schedule, I'm doing something new, and I'm calling it. Someone said they liked my rant, so I'm gonna talk about my Jeffy's rant of the week. All right, so today, I'm telling you, these venues are getting tough, man. Actually, I need to turn the light off. Hold on one second. All right, so these venue today, man, like, okay, so most of you know that the other day I had posted the schedule here, and on the 7th I had, sorry, I'll make myself small here. On the 7th, I had RP funding. The guy over there who's retiring, great guy, Billy over there. He had sent me. I worked with him. I said I wanted the 26th. They put of July. They originally they put an anime show in there. Okay, which is fine, but it just doesn't work with us. Okay, I don't really need an anime show when we're there. And so I wanted to come up with another date. The date of our normal show wasn't available. I believe it wasn't available. And so I came up with this June 7th, which is a one-day show. We'd be able to get in at the day before and then have a one-day show. The price he sent back to me was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it was more expensive than any other building. And I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the city of Lakeland. Okay. The price was more than any venue that we have rented, period. Okay, for one day. I mean, now, okay, let me rephrase that. For a one-day show, it was the most. And I was just like, I can't believe it. I'm like this. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I can't do it. I mean, I'm not going to put that on vendors. I mean, it's not right. That and you've got several vendors I know that can't be at the show because of the WrestleCon. So I am. If I don't come up with something soon, I'm just going to have to move on from that date. But I am not giving up the June 7th. I really still want to have a show. So that brings me, they said that there was something new here. So that brings me up to a poll that I've got for you guys that are on the thing. So where should we go? I think you can do this. I don't know if you can do it or not, but this is a new widget thing where I can have a poll. So I don't know if you can touch that or click on it, or I don't know, maybe you can't do anything. But we'll see. I'll leave it up there. Okay. Should we go try and do the Fort Lauderdale for June 7th? Should we go to Jacksonville? Now keep in mind, Jacksonville's coming up, or St. Augustine. Lisa, I don't want to hear it. Just be quiet. So All right. Or we could go to Pinellas. Okay. Or other. Now, I don't, obviously, nobody can actually click on this because nobody's clicking on it. So, but they said that I could do a poll. So I'm putting it out there. Oh, okay. So let's go back to the, I can look, Lake Mary. Okay. Lake Mary. Okay. All right. It's pricing from these vendors, man. Oh man, finally, I was starting to think that Damien didn't like me anymore. Man, I haven't seen him at all in a while. So we'll look forward to seeing you. Pinellas, other. So you don't like any of them. Somebody was able to click on one. Other. You don't like any of those. Oh, you like, well, Mark would want another Orlando, but I don't know if that's going to work with us doing Kissimmee on May 23rd. Pinellas. Okay. I'm going to leave this up, guys, while I move on to the next thing, I think. So again, my rant is, the venue pricing is just going through the roof. I really think that the Pokemon shows, that the amount of Pokemon shows are affecting pricing. I don't know. It's really hard to get a date at some of these venues now because they're doing like 3 or 4 at the same venue in like a span of 4 months. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. So as of right now, it looks like there's no Lakeland, which is right here where I live. We're not gonna, unless I find another venue, because I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I mean, this price for a 1 day was higher than Avanti, higher than Coral Springs, higher than, St. Augustine. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
Shame on the city of Lakeland.
And I don't blame Billy. I really don't. He's retiring, great guy. We just can't justify that. I mean, I understand they've got like all these cheer teams and all of this community stuff, and all those people have the money to pay for it. All these parents are paying for it. So now Sarasota, I did think of Sarasota. But the venue that we want to use, the Hall of Justice, is closed for a year for renovation. There is another one that I had looked at before, but I need to go down there. I have no idea how this works, Damien, but I'm gonna look into it. Okay, maybe it's on YouTube. Maybe it only works on YouTube. Okay, all right. Well, anyway, feel free. The other one that we are looking at is Melbourne. I had a Melbourne hotel reach out to me. That one is probably going to be August 23rd right now. And we will look into it. Port Charlotte. Wow, that's a little bit of a hike. Well, we haven't been down there. I need to look around at venues more. Okay. All right. And so, what I'm trying to do, especially on a 1-day show, okay, is try to keep these tables. I mean, 200 is even a lot, but I'm just saying, like, I really try to keep them under 175 for a 1 day, or really 175 period. But sometimes when we go to like Coral Springs or St. Augustine or whatever, it does get pushed up because of the amount of the cost. Now, could I rent a crappier venue? Sure, I could, but I don't want that. I want when customers come in, they feel like they're it's a nice place. They feel like it's an inviting place, and so that's just how we roll. But I don't want to kill vendors, on everything. I know the hotels are enough, if Marco was on here, he'd be saying Naples, but I just don't think that we're going to get vendors down there. We have a tough time booking Fort Myers sometimes, and we get great crowds in Fort Myers. So all right. Let's see. So that's my rant of the week. I am gonna be doing a little bit of more of these when they come up. I don't know. This is just something happened a few hours ago, and stuff. So I wanted to point that out. Okay. All right. Let me go back and talk a little bit about the setup for this weekend. And here's our setup page. You guys should have been notified on this. So again, our setup times on Friday are 2 to 10 or 2 to 9. Lights will go off at 9:30 if you're still in there, which you shouldn't be. I won't be, but so you won't be either. But anyway, let's see. Saturday setup is 6:30 a.m. Gate will open once I'm there. And by the gate, I mean the gate here, the MLK gate. There's a gate here. You're gonna come to the MLK entrance, and then you'll somewhere in here. There's a guard gate or whatever. They'll open it, and then you come to the Florida Center, the show building. Okay, there's some vendor parking behind the Florida Center, and then there's some extra additional. Here's a zoomed in version of the vendor parking area, but there's also some extra vendor for your trailer or whatever. On here, you're gonna have a map to get there, and which this I don't think shows you. It's to the fairgrounds itself, not at the MLK gate. And then you want to register for a pass there, for a vendor pass, and then obviously I've got my thing about closing on here. So let me go ahead and I'm going to talk about this guy here in just a moment. But let me turn that off. Okay, so again, that is vendor setup. So if you didn't get that link, hit me up and I'll send it out to you. This weekend we are going to have, or no, not this weekend, but coming up on the schedule after this is North Florida World Golf Village. We're going to have, I'm going to just assume that you guys can't actually click on that for some reason, but so anyway, we are going to have Eddie Deason and then John Anderson who was in Stranger Things, and then Eddie Deason was in a ton of stuff. He's going to be at North Florida. I need to get that, put out tomorrow, and all of that for the next week. I do have a few tables left in, but they're all aisles. I'm down to the last few in North Florida. Port St. Lucie, I think, is basically sold out. I got to follow up with a couple people that asked me about it, and then a couple people that, applied. Kissimmee, I still have space, and that is because we are in the 25,000 square foot space, of which I'm not using all of it, but we are. I do have tables there. I am out of walls basically, unless you want to be on a drape wall to the left side, far left side. Then I have some walls there, but or I have a couple walls left. And then I'm gonna be running out of corners here pretty fast. So I'm down to the end on that. Okay. Again, I thought we were gonna be in Lakeland, but we're not. We're not gonna be in Lakeland. Ocala is basically sold out. Still have space in Tallahassee there, which I'm gonna be ramping that up. And then very good deal here. I know it's a little bit of a drive, but the tables are like $70 or $80. And it's a big space, you get for that. And then I know what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about guests for Tampa Toy Con. Let me do that. So we are going to have, we're going to have Jack O'Halloran. He's going to be at the show. That he was one of the villains in the Superman 1 and 2 movies. Okay, he's the one villain that's left still with us. He's in Superman 2. Okay, and then, I think he was probably a bit part in Superman 1 in the beginning. So, also, he was a bunch of other things too. So, but anyway, then I just found out that we're going to have Peter Raimundo back. I've got another contract I need to send out. And then we are going to have other people also. Greg Berger, I'm checking with him for that event. We'll see if I'm going to be checking with the booking agent for that to see if he's available. He had a great time at our show this last weekend, so I'm going to try to bring him to Tampa. If not, he had a great time, so he'll be back. We just got to line up dates. He was going to Sweden in a couple of weeks and all this stuff. He's got TFCon and all of that to do this year. So we'll see when we can get him back here. The other, he connected me to Keon, who I started a show, who is Storm Shadow. Let's see. I can't add that to the stage until okay. So Storm Shadow, the voice actor for Storm Shadow, and a ton of other stuff. Okay, guys. We are connected to him, so we're just lining up a date when we can have him. Possibly it's going to be Fort Myers, but we'll see what we can do on that. Okay. And yeah, it's really sucks. Yeah, just message me and I'll send it over to you. Okay. Brandon. Well, that's really close to the fairgrounds. I did have another Tampa venue reach out to me though, so I'm going to look into that. Okay. Because there wasn't any parking at this new venue costs. I'm tired of driving all over. Well, wait a minute. Where does Stephanie live? I don't even know. Okay. From the experience of going to the shows, people show up. Yeah, they do. They definitely do. And that's how we're able to do it. Drive to Tampa. Oh, okay, great. Okay. Yeah, so that's, there's a lot that and all this stuff happened in the last week since we talked before. I think that I think I've covered everything. And I think that's at the sheet. So I appreciate you guys coming on. I think let me just see if I've I would Jeff here talked about Fort Myers being the location probably about as far as we want to go. I think I would agree there, just because I don't see vendors. It's like Miami. I mean, people want us to come to Miami, but I don't see vendors coming to Miami. Our vendors, they just don't want to drive. We'd have to get local ones, and I don't know if they have stuff. Now for the North Florida show, we do have vendors that are coming from Alabama and Georgia for that show. That's what's great about Jacksonville and all that. So not yet, but I'll get that posted here soon, Joel. Thanks for mentioning that. Okay. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. I'll be back on Tuesday or next Tuesday, if not before. We'll talk about how Tampa went. I'll share any pickups. I might be setting up myself this weekend. I've got a lot of stuff that I don't need, or that I need to sell really. But I picked up these comics. I picked up some different things this weekend, and I pretty much get something every show. Not every show, but a lot of shows. I buy stuff, so I'm running out of space, and you get caught up in the moment at these shows. Even myself, I'm a collector first, so it's just how it is. But anyway, all right, guys. We will see you this weekend. Hours are 9 o'clock to 9 to 4, both days. I know Sunday that might be a little early, but we're just trying to keep it consistent. TK was saying, "Oh, let's change the Sunday to 10 o'clock." I don't want to do that because then people get confused. So we're just sticking with our normal hours. Okay. And have a good night, and have a good night, Andy, and everybody else. And, okay. Message me later there, August, and I'll send you the link. All right. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk to you soon.